Welcome back to the Cultivating Calmness podcast. My name is 𝐂𝐮𝐥𝐭𝐢𝐯, and I want to talk today with you about updates and progress. And what does that mean as far as your treatment? And one of the things that I wanted to give an update on is I've talked about how I have decided to, do what I recommend all of my clients to do, which is to, take my health more seriously and to get some testing done and to look at some of those things and see what needs changed and what I could be doing better. So, diet and exercise were a big part of that. I had found out that I had really low minerals, like way low minerals, like lowest copper that she has seen, and all the minerals that I thought I was probably doing okay on. I actually wasn't. So the last month or so has been me taking specific supplements and working on eating, better, more more well-rounded meals, getting certain nutrients out of meals, and also more frequent meals, which is something I'm not used to, and I'm still getting used to that, where I eat a full meal and then I still feel full when I should be having a snack. Part of that is just slow metabolism and where my body has gotten. And so having that consistent food and that consistent energy will take time. But aside from all of that, then this whole last week I spent mostly in bed, being sick. So that kind of derailed some of that progress, I guess. Still tried to do, the bare minimum, like taking supplements, but eating was not happening much. And eating maybe the most appropriate things wasn't, exactly happening, but I was doing a fairly decent job under the circumstances. But I'm glad to be back and feeling better, although energy is needing to get back up. So if you've ever, spent some time being sick, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get back into feeling well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with that. But one of the things I noticed right before I got sick was actually one of the things that I knew had to do with, probably not enough magnesium, but also probably other things. I just didn't know what the other things were. So I don't exactly also have the exact answer, but I was having like an eye twitch, and most other people, probably couldn't see it, but I could feel it, and it would happen pretty consistently, and not just, randomly here and there. That's how it started, but then it was all the time. It got to where I just had to ignore it, because it didn't matter, putting your hand on your eye didn't make it stop. It just, would twitch. And I've had clients talk about that. So I know that is, not a good thing. I also didn't know exactly how to make that stop. Well, with the supplements that I'm taking and some of the work that I'm doing, that stopped. And so I am no longer having the eye twitch. Woo! That's a win. And I've also been feeling a lot more energy. So when you are like getting the right things and you know why you're maybe feeling the way you're feeling, you can then be more directive with what you're taking. So I was taking, just random supplements because I was supposed to, because it's supposed to be helpful, but don't know if those were actually being helpful because it was more like guessing. What they say, like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks, and that isn't always the best thing to do. So that's why I always suggest getting some testing done, and to find out where are your levels for different ailments, different things, so that you're not just necessarily guessing. So that's the update on me and some of the progress that I've seen so far. And so I'm hopeful that this will continue, and I will continue to see the progress that I want, so that I can go into the next phases of my protocol, which will be to kill off some of the bad stuff that's going on. And hopefully then I will be able to continue to, have even more progress there. So I say all of that because when it comes to, seeing a therapist, if you're seeing a therapist, like me, or if you're seeing, working with a nutritionist, or you're seeing your doctor, or, whoever you're working with, sometimes, there is testing involved, or there's homework involved. There's things that, you're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis, to be able to see the results that you want to see. And I often have to have that conversation with my clients, is that, you know, um, just because we have a conversation here in my office for an hour once a week, if that, oftentimes it's once every other week or every few weeks. If we're only having a conversation for 1 hour every few weeks, what are you doing in between sessions to continue to work on that progress? Now, when it comes to therapy, sometimes that is like homework sheets. Sometimes that's, hey, try this strategy, use this coping skill, talk to these people, do these things. Sometimes it's not always specific, but it's knowing that you want to make a change, and knowing that maybe the things that you're doing aren't the most effective or aren't happening. And you're not going to get where you want to go if you aren't making change. So change doesn't happen without change. So if I just wish for it to happen, that's great, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen without some kind of effort or work or movement in those areas. Okay. So whether you're seeing me or another counselor, are you doing the hard work? Yes, it's hard. There's certain things that, I'm supposed to be eating and not eating. And, right now I'm really wanting some sugar. I'm really wanting some like cookies, but I'm not going to do that because I am really also wanting to see the results. And if I want to see the results, then I need to stick with it. And it is hard. I've been over the years working on eating less and less sugar. And so I am to a point where, I can tell when I've had it. I also know, like, I have one of the overgrowths that I have is candida, and candida feeds on sugar as well as iron, as well as, other minerals in my system. And so one of the things I've learned over time is that, sometimes your cravings are driven by those overgrowths, are driven by the things that are going on in your gut. And so, you know, keeping that in mind, it doesn't always make it, easy. It doesn't mean that I'm going to always be successful, but knowing like, hey, there's a reason that I'm craving those things. There's a reason that that is happening. And finding the healthier alternatives, finding the things that you can have instead of the things that are going to necessarily kind of feed that dragon, right? That thing that's wanting to take your attention and wanting to take your motivation and wanting to take your um, uh, progress away from you. Are you able to find those healthy alternatives? So when you're being pulled in that direction of that relationship that maybe isn't the best for you, why is that? Where is that coming from? Is that driven by that need to be liked or that unworthiness? And how do you find that to give that to yourself so that you're not pulled in that direction, so that you're not doing the thing that's not going to be helpful for you? One of my, difficulties is like staying up too late and playing on my phone when I should be doing other things. I know those are problems. And so, for me, it's maybe finding finding the ways to not do those things. Are there other alternatives? Like, could I pick up a book instead of my phone? Can I force myself to kind of be in bed at a certain time and not turn on the TV versus, and pick up that book instead of picking up the TV or the phone, so that I am like falling asleep at a more reasonable time, so that I am getting the rest that I need and I'm feeling more energized, the next day, instead of dragging and feeling like, I don't want to get out of bed and I just want to keep sleeping. So like there's knowing and then there's doing. So we can know the right thing. We can know I should be doing certain things. And in therapy, we say like, don't should yourself a lot. Well, that's because oftentimes we can use those statements as a way to shame ourselves or make ourselves feel guilty for doing or not doing something. And sometimes that can be effective, but in some circumstances, it is helpful to know what the expectation is, and what you could be doing differently and what alternatives there are out there so that you can make the better decisions. So you can choose the healthier, better thing for you. So if you're in that place, if you're feeling like you're not making the progress, ask yourself if you're doing the things that you need to be doing to get to the progress you want to see. Is it eating healthier? Is it practicing some kind of skill that, I'll do that later, but the later never comes, right? Is it withstanding or withholding from having something despite everybody else around you having it, right? Like a birthday cake. Is it, oh, no, I can't have that right now. Or I don't want to have that right now. I mean, I do, but I don't, right? I do want it. It looks delicious, but I'm going to hold off because there's something better for me out there if I resist that thing. Whatever that thing is, food, exercise, spending time with certain people or away from certain people, certain habits that you have, you name it. It could be whatever it is for you as an individual. And I am no saint, and I am working on some of those things as well. So when I say I understand in my own way that life is hard and that making change is difficult. So I may not know exactly what it is that you're going through, but I do know what it's like to go what I'm going through, and I can empathize with that. I can kind of extrapolate and understand that would be hard for you, just as whatever my thing is hard for me. So, I just want to, give you a little bit of update on me and some of those things that, I said I was working on, and I am seeing some of those results. So, not all the results I want to be seeing, but I am seeing some of those results, and you can too. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you again next week.